Now, I have currently got another classic Doctor Who story in the works, a review that I'm planning out. Currently watching through the Evil of the Daleks. I hope to get that out by the end of this week. If I don't, it'll come soon. Trust me. Now, the other piece of Doctor Who news that's been running around for the past week now or so is that we knew that in 2022 Jodie Whittaker would be leaving the role of the Doctor. We don't yet know who's going to replace her, but we also knew Chris Chibnall was going to be stepping down as showrunner, and there was a little bit of intrigue, a little bit of thought about who was going to be replacing him. And we've had the news now that former showrunner Russell T Davies is coming back, and come 2023, he'll be at the lead of Doctor Who once again, and he'll be taking over. Now, there's been lots of different reactions to this. Most people are like, yeah, are delighted that he's back, and I'm in that camp too. Delighted that he's back, and can't wait to see what he does with the show now. But can I say that while I'm delighted to have him back, I'm also a little hesitant, shall we say? Now, here's the thing. Russell T Davies' run of Doctor Who, or at least of New Who, is my favourite. I absolutely love his run of Doctor Who, and Series 4 is my personal favourite from 2008. Now, that's not to say that I didn't like Stephen Moffat or Chris Chibnall's run. I love those as well. But the thing that has me slightly worried about that had me slightly worried about Russell T Davies coming back is that, like with the Doctor themselves and their regeneration, Doctor Who is constantly changing. It's constantly evolving. It's constantly changing into something new. For example, with Davies' run, most of his episodes, I think we usually say, they're usually more fantastical, whimsical. There's epic, great adventures. I mean, I remember stuff like The Stolen Earth and Journey's End. That, to me, is still one of New Who's best Doctor Who stories. Absolutely love it. Moffat, on the other hand, his stories were kind of a lot more kind of gritty and mysterious. I mean, you still had the occasional whimsical adventure, but a lot of his stories were a lot more grounded. I mean, I remember the ending of the Pandorica opens in the Big Bang, and you remember those stories, and while they are big and epic, like the Stolen Earth was, they're a different kind of epic. I mean, you definitely feel they're definitely more mysterious, and there's something more going on. I mean, he did have overrunning plot threads, such as The Cracks in Time, River Song, and The Impossible Girl, but they were a different sort. And the same with Chris Chibnall. I mean, while Davies was fantastical and whimsical and Moffat's was more gritty and mysterious, Chibnall has managed to weave kind of a fine blend of joy, like the joy in exploration, and intrigue throughout the series, particularly with the ending of Series 12 with the Timeless Child storyline. But here's the thing, with Doctor Who constantly changing, with new writers coming in and new head writers being in charge, as I said, everything is always changing, and I did feel at first that if we're going back to Davies, have we moved on? I mean, the thing was, while he left in 2009, Russell T Davies' final story was broadcast 1st of January 2010. So he was a showrunner from 2005 until 2009. And we had that. Then we had Stephen Moffat, who was from 2010 to 2017. And then we've got Chris Chibnall, who went from 2018 to 2022. It just felt like, have we moved on from the point where we were with Davies? I mean, we had his time. Have we now moved on from that? And surprisingly enough, I referred to a quote, or a paraphrase of a quote from an episode of How I Met Your Mother. And it's one said by Kobe Smulders and Neil Patrick Harris, but the lines were, "The future is scary, but you can't just run back to the past because it's familiar. It might seem tempting, but it's a mistake." And that was my ultimate fear. Like, had we moved on from the point that we were with Davies back in 2009? Anyway, I posted this on the social media Who page asking about it, and surprisingly enough, I did have people saying, yeah, I get your point, but here's the thing. Russell T Davies isn't the same writer who he was back in 2005. And I can kind of see their point. I mean, while he did do a lot of stuff outside of Doctor Who, including Cucumber and the likes, He did always seem to keep one Doctor Who fairly close by. I mean, even when the Sarah Jane adventures sadly ended in 2011 due to the death of Elizabeth Sladen, he did carry over a few of the ideas that he had planned for Sarah Jane over to his series Wizards vs. Aliens, which I did think was a rather fun series when I was younger. But as people have pointed out to me, he's done a lot of stuff since then, and they say that if he brings some of the kind of ideas and the kind of tone that he did with stuff like Years and Years and It's a Sin, we may be in for a really cracking new season of new era of Doctor Who under his rule. So, what I guess I'm trying to say is I'm hesitant about his returning, but at the same time, there's a little bit of intrigue. Just wondering, how has he changed from when he left in 2009, and will his new era reflect that? I mean, are we ultimately just heading back in time to his previous tone, or will we get something new out of it? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on him returning as showrunner. But that's my £2. What do you think? Anyway, hopefully I'll get the Evil of the Daleks out before the end of this week. But until then, see ya.